look like some sort of heathen with 2 cigars going in front of me.
No, I've only got one. I'm only going to have one at a time going.
Oh, I'll have 2. It's just the way I am.
Look at Willie Nelson's guitar.
Right?
Yeah,
That
Trigger.
thing is like,
Trigger's got
holes everywhere.
Yeah,
the whole front is a hole.
Yeah. Trigger's more hole than guitar now.
Yeah.
Dude, I went through so many cigars, sitting out on the back porch just twiddling my thumbs for 3 days. That was so bad.
It was crazy. I kept telling my wife, like, okay, so when is the run on toilet paper going to happen?
You're really.
Yeah. I'm gonna... Well, hey, welcome to the Smokey Guys. Let's get this thing going.
Let's do it. It's been quite a week. I was gonna say something else. Call it another kind of week, but I have to wait 30 seconds on YouTube.
Right?
I'm CR Parsons. I'm one of the Smokey Guys.
I'm Kevin Price, the other Smokey guy. Behind the camera, we've got our producer back in house, Mr. Kevin Schultz. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
So, guys, I mean, it was a pretty quiet week around Tulsa. There's not a whole lot going on. I don't think we have much to talk about.
No, it was really, there was not much happening. I guarantee there was not much happening.
Yeah, especially when the whole town's without power for like 5 days.
Exactly. For those of you who have seen the news, Tulsa had a storm from hell roll through just about a week ago.
We'll call it an inland hurricane. That's what it felt like.
120 mile an hour straight line winds, plus some swirling winds, because there were places where they found debris in multiple directions, which is usually indicative of a tornado. But high winds and a huge area. You know, tornadoes are usually a quarter mile, half mile. Yeah. Maybe a huge tornado will be a mile wide. This was all the way from one end of town to the other end of town.
Oh, yeah, and it stretched, honestly, it stretched from, maybe 30, 40 miles long, if not further. I mean, it was insane because I have relatives down in Muskogee. They got wind damage. My mother-in-law lost power down in Chakotah, which is an hour away. So, man, I'm way off. It had to be at least 130 mile path, maybe.
It was a huge swath. It came
fast.
through, and it did a lot of damage in a short period of time. I know I had just gotten home from our gig that night and had literally just walked in the door and woke the girls up because it was like 12:30. Woke the girls up and said, "Hey, get ready and to head to the basement if I tell you to, because we've got a strong line of storms coming through." And at that point, we didn't know how bad it was going to be.
Right, yeah.
But we knew it was going to be bad enough that I wanted to warn them. And no more than had I gotten them up and aware, then it hit. And when I say it hit, I mean it hit.
Yeah, we had just rolled out of the venue where we played.
How's it going?
And
Doing well. How about you?
Can't complain.
yeah, we're just recording a podcast. But yeah, we just gotten on the highway and started heading out on the highway, and I drive a big, Escalade, looks like a mini school bus.
Yeah.
And it started blowing that thing all over the road, and so we got off and got underneath the highway, and it was just still the swirling winds were pushing cars around, and people were driving wrong way down Mingo, and it was just insane. It was crazy. And then, of course, over by you at TU, it took one of the big lights over the football stadium lights and just folded that thing in half and dropped it on the ground. I mean, that's solid steel. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me.
Well, we've had crews working around the clock all week long, and there are still 4,000 people without power in the city of Tulsa.
Yeah.
At one point in time, I heard the number 200,000 customers, which you got to figure that means households.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're talking basically the entire city of Tulsa was powerless.
But yours came back on and went off. Mine came back on and stayed. What about you, Schultz?
Thursday at around 3.
So it happened Saturday night at midnight-ish, and then you're off without power till Thursday. I was off till Sunday evening, I believe. It wasn't that bad for me.
That Sunday evening, like
yeah.
less than 24 hours later.
I was 20 hours without power, and I felt like a savage. I was prepared, man. We were starting to carve tools out of rocks and stuff. It was insane.
That was nothing.
Yeah.
That was nothing. I kept hoping it would come back on because we had a gig on Thursday up in Missouri. No, Arkansas. And so I knew I had to get out of town Wednesday, so I kept hoping it would come back on before I had to leave town.
Yeah.
So I spent all day Sunday, all day Monday, all day Tuesday praying, and it didn't come back on before we left.
And Schultz and I even kept texting you a whole lot during it. Not really to check on you, but to make sure that your battery on your phone died so we wouldn't have to hear from you.
Dude, I went through so many cigars sitting out on the back porch just twiddling my thumbs for 3 days. That was so bad. Because I live in an area of town that I couldn't just hook up my generator and leave it. It's one of those things that you have to keep an eye on it, otherwise it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
And so
they're just like they're gonna pick it up and take it and go make a little repairs on it, make it run better for you, and then they'll bring it back, right?
Right, of course.
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
That's the way the crackheads always do with equipment they steal, isn't it? But yeah, so I couldn't leave the house. I was literally stuck in the house. Luckily, you were nice enough to go find me ice, which was not an easy thing to do in the city of Tulsa.
Man, ice, gas. It was crazy. I kept telling my wife, I was like, okay, so when is the run on toilet paper going to happen?
You're really?
Yeah. I've got like 8 cases in my garage left over from
Still
COVID.
stocked up.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna make a fortune. This is gonna be great. But no, yeah, you're right. We that put extra pressure on you because we had to drive to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Our band had a private gig for Anheuser-Busch over there. We played for their ag department, if you will.
The people that grow all the grain that we like to drink.
Yeah, so all those rice farmers and stuff, we got to play for them, and it was awesome. They brought their families out. It was just a big beer bash at noon on Thursday. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. We had, 500-600 people there probably?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Great event. Man, couldn't have been treated any better. I mean, Anheuser-Busch took care of us like we were rock stars. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't say enough good about the event or them or how we were treated and everything else. It was just awesome. And on top of that, we got a chance to go visit some of your family, like distant family or extended family, if you will. We got a chance to go visit their brewery,
Native Brew Works.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and got to drink some good beers and have a good meal there.
Yeah, Dustin Huntley, one of the brewmasters at Native Brew Works, is kind of quasi-related, a half-step neighbor-in-law, if you will. But yeah, he's one of the people in charge of that place, and oh my gosh, they make some good beer. I know you had their Dunkel, right?
I had the Dunkel first, and then I had the Uno Mas, which is a Mexican lager, and it was really good with that lime in there. It was just perfect.
And I had the Dunkel, and then I had one called Cool Beans. It was a nitro-infused coffee beer. It wasn't a stout. Normally I would, that's why I hesitated, because I wanted to go naturally into coffee stout. Yeah. But it wasn't a stout. It was a lager style beer.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, so good. If you had blindfolded me and had me sip it, I would have told you it was just a nitro brew coffee. It was just a cold brew nitro coffee. It was that good and that clean. Yeah. It was tasty.
And we found out that Jonesboro, Arkansas has like 2 Uber drivers.
Right.
Because every time we called an Uber, we got the same guy. Mm-hmm. And we finally got the second guy, like on the 3rd or 4th, 5th ride, whatever it happened to be. Yeah, that was quite entertaining.
Yeah. Diddy didn't quite know what to make of us.
I don't think so. Especially when I found out his name was Diddy, I was like, oh, I'm running with this.
Well, the thing was, his name was not Diddy. It was Ola Diti or something like that. He was
close enough for me.
Very African. Very African. And it was so funny because when we first got him and first got in the car, he was quiet as a mouse.
Yeah.
He said hi to us and then he just drove. Never said a word. He was just quiet. So when we got him the second time, he started talking a little bit. But you could tell he's just a quiet person.
Yeah, like I say, whenever he opened up, he got to laughing and cutting up with us, and turned out he has a friend that lives in Tulsa, and so we got to kind of clowning around about that and talking about, hey, why don't you come over and visit us, and one of us will be your Uber driver. We'll just like sign up for Uber that day or something.
What are you smoking tonight?
This is Esteban Carreras. It's that devil's hand that they have.
Okay.
It's a wonderful, wonderful stick. I get these quite often from our buddy Jeff at Classic.
Yep.
He introduced me to that cigar, and I'm really glad he did, because it's one of those that just hits every note for me. It's kind of spicy, kind of full-bodied.
Yeah. Well, I'm smoking on one of these street tacos.
Oh, yeah.
I think this one, I don't have my glasses on. I gotta get my old man glasses out.
Get your readers out there, Pops.
Yeah, this one's the Barbacoa.
Yeah.
And
I've had
so,
that one. That's the one I really like.
Yeah, I'm really fond of these. I first had these at a little cigar bar called Rigby's down in Paris, Texas.
Okay.
And they had the breakfast tacos instead of the full street tacos.
Yeah, the little
shorter ones, a little more of a lighter wrapper. This one I think is a natural. It's definitely not a Maduro. So that one must have been some kind of Connecticut, but I don't know. It didn't taste like a Connecticut.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with them when I tried it there, and I'm impressed with it tonight.
What are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking one of those Nest cafes that our buddy Hank Wilhelm cannot pronounce.
Yeah. He poor old Hank, man. That was the second half of my weekend. So we went and played in Arkansas, and then we came back, and I had to load up again on Saturday morning to go play last night, or not say last night. I had to play on Saturday for Jasper, Missouri's city fireworks celebration.
They were having 4th of July at the end of June.
Yes, exactly. But it's actually smart if you think about it, because I mean, the everywhere else is doing it in or around the 4th. Well, by them doing it on this weekend, we had a monster crowd.
I'll bet.
Which was real cool. They have a little city park there, and we set up on their stage, and I was getting to our buddy Hank. Hank actually put this together. We do a little group called the Tri-County Troubadours, and it's kind of a rotating
Cast of characters.
Yeah, exactly. And so this time it happened to be me and Hank Wilhelm and Dan Conklin. Chris Welch was supposed to join us, but apparently he's too good at his job, and so he had to work on Saturday. And he lives way in eastern Missouri, so we didn't get a chance to hang out with him. But the weirdest thing happened. We're sitting there, we're playing music, and we're just having a good time. And I think it was Dan was playing a song, and of course Hank and I sing harmonies with Dan, and we all kind of do that for each other. And right in the middle of the song, we heard it sounded like glass break or pop. It was the weirdest, strangest sound. And we kind of all looked around. Well, then Hank just looked down at his guitar, and the sides of the guitar, the side would just split.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing. At first, when he showed it to me, it just looked like a scratch until I reached over and felt it. And I was like, oh no, that's actually opened up.
Yeah.
I guess humidity, all that high heat, something got to that guitar. And so his Gibson Hummingbird is not, I mean, it was still playable and it still sounded good, but it's got a big, huge
Now it's got a big
problem.
issue.
Yeah, so he's going to have to get that fixed, unfortunately. So we may have to start a GoFundMe for Hank to get a new guitar.
Well, when you first messaged me and told me about it, I thought you were mis-explaining. I thought what you were calling the sides was the front and back.
Yeah.
Because those are the big sides. I mean, it's a big side and big side. But, because I've seen them split, especially from the tailpiece up toward the bridge.
Right.
That's a common split on an acoustic guitar. If it's got a lot of tension in it for some reason or another. Or if it loses a bracing underneath, it'll sometimes split there. But to have it split on that side like that, that's just weird.
That is really strange.
So that's not character?
No.
I mean, look at Willie Nelson's guitar.
Right?
Yeah,
That
Trigger.
thing is
Trigger's
got
got
holes everywhere.
Yeah,
the whole front is a hole.
Yeah. Trigger's more hole than guitar now.
Yeah.
Well, it may be character, but the thing is, he's going to have to get it to a luthier to check it and try to keep the split from continuing
on
any
right.
further.
Lutheran? What?
Not a Lutheran, a Luther, a luthier,
Yeah.
a guy who makes and fixes guitars. Would you like me to put the
description?
So if you had a
dictionary definition up
There
on
you
the
go.
screen?
if you had a luthier who was a Lutheran, would it be like a Lutherian?
A Lutherian?
I don't know. Just thinking out loud here.
Shut up, Schultz.
Great show though, man. It went phenomenal.
That's good.
And awesome fireworks display. They put on a heck of a deal, and we did manage to polish off a bottle of, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's Randy Rogers, Texas Red Dirt artist. Came out with his own line of whiskey.
That guitar-shaped bottle?
No, this was a regular.
Okay.
High River or something like that. I've got it on my phone. I guess I could probably look it up. But
Yeah, we'll look it up.
I took a new bottle of it up there and poured us a few red Solo cups, and we were sitting around drinking them. And after Hank's guitar split, he looked at me. He goes, I had just finished the song, and he goes, "All right, shut up and start bartending."
Yeah.
I go around and I take the 3 cups and I finish off what was left of the bottle, and there's only maybe this much in the bottom of each one, and I bring it back and I hand it to him and he goes, "Where's the whiskey?"
Where's the rest?
Yeah, it's like, no, I need more than this.
Yeah.
To get me through.
Poor guy, because that's not a cheap guitar. I mean,
$4,000.
Those are pricey guitars, but they're good, and that's one of the things. They're a high quality guitar.
Yeah, we did get a chance to smoke though. That was awesome, sitting out there, and so we got to have good cigars, share with friends, shared whiskey, had way too many beers.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun.
Speaking of way too many beers, we tried to record a podcast while we were in Jonesboro.
Yeah, we did.
But
It was half-ass effort.
Somebody had a few too many Anheuser-Busch products and was a little too mouthy and could not be reined in.
Could not be trusted with a podcast.
Make some shorts out of it.
Yeah, I was not driving, so there's that.
That is true. That's why we Ubered.
Yeah, but we were trying to do it in a parking lot, and the traffic on the highway in front of the hotel was too loud for me, and
apparently the mosquitoes were trying to carry everybody else away. I didn't have a problem with it.
I invited like half the county to come hang out with us, so we had that going for us. Yeah, I may or may not have had 12 straight hours of drinking. I mean, not gonna lie. I walking in, I think I told you or whoever was walking next to me, I was like, "This has been a day of drinking. This has been good."
Yeah,
I've had a serious buzz going for 12 straight hours at least.
It was. Well, what are you drinking now?
This is, we've talked about it one time before, I believe. This is a whiskey from Treaty Oak down in Texas. It's called Red Handed. It is a bourbon, but it is actually a 13-year-old Dickel that they purchased and then rebottled.
I remember us discussing that last time we had it.
Yeah, it's really solid. It's super smooth. So I thought I'm going to break that out. I've got several bottles I really need to kill off.
Oh yeah.
So this is going to be the first attempt, and then I'll.
You're beginning to have more of a bar than a cigar box.
Exactly.
in your cabinet in there.
Yeah, I need to clean up a little bit.
Speaking of cleaning up, my wife was on vacation last week, which is part of the reason I was at home by myself. But she was.
You had no power.
Well, yeah, I would have sent her away anyway. But she was on vacation last week with her sisters up in Missouri because she doesn't know how to vacation.
Yeah.
But she ran into a Sam's that had unbelievably good prices on whiskey. I got some of that barrel seagrass.
Yeah. It's a great.
I love that barrel seagrass.
Yeah.
And it was a good 30% off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Picked up a couple extra bottles of the Angel Envy Rye, which is one of our favorites.
Yeah. That's that butterscotchy. It's probably my favorite rye of all of them. It's pricey, but it's worth every penny.
Yeah, I joke that one time we did a gig at a country club here in town, and they set the band in between a cigar roller and a bourbon bar, and we were in heaven because I mean you're talking our place to be right there. But I swear I got as much value out of the bourbon bar as I did the amount they paid us for being there.
Oh yeah.
Because I was drinking that Angel Envy Rye all night.
Yeah. And we were making, it was funny because the bartender had really no clue of what any of the bourbons were.
Mm-hmm.
And so in between songs, he'd look at me and go, "Hey, what does this guy want?" I'm like, he looks like a Woodford guy. Yeah, just give him Woodford. Oh yeah, that Angel Envy Rye, you might want to just hold that back for the band. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just swill.
That was the night. That was the night we had our celebrity fan there.
Yes, that was the night that we're standing there and we're playing songs, and this guy walks up and standing in front of us, and unbeknownst to most of us, because we had several of these Angel Envy Ryes, it was Mr. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep, he was in for the senior PGA. I don't know if he was making a speech or what he was doing, because there were a lot of speeches that night, all from sports people.
Yeah. So we had all the, we had the football coach from TU. We had the men's basketball coach from OSU. We had the outgoing men's basketball coach at OU and the new one, Porter Moser.
Yeah.
And then we had former head football coach, Mr. Bob Stoops, was there.
Yeah. Steve Largent.
Man, we had a whole mess of
bunch
celebrities.
of
It was awesome. A lot of cool Oklahoma ties.
Mm-hmm.
We got a chance to hear them speak and watch them hit. They were hitting shots on this little par 3, and the the TU men's football coach hit a shot and put it within like inches of the hole. It was amazing. I was like, oh, that's why you need to spend more time coaching, I guess.
Less time on the golf course, more time on the
Right.
coaching field.
Wins and losses, buddy. What are you drinking over there?
Well, this is a new one that I picked up. When did I pick this one up? I picked this one up when I was with you somewhere.
Kansas City.
Was it Kansas City?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mythology.
Yeah, this is the Mythology.
Yep.
I got the American whiskey as opposed to their bourbon.
They have cool labels.
They really do.
I
They
love
really
the label.
do. And this one is their American whiskey. It is 117.4 proof. And it is batch number 3. These are limited number run batches for their American whiskey. Their bourbon was a simple 80 proof. It was a large volume something. So I thought this would be more interesting, and it is. One thing I learned about this one though was drink it neat.
Yeah, don't put any ice on it.
We tried it neat and really loved the flavor of it, and then we threw some ice in it, and it washed all the flavor out.
Yeah.
I mean, it went to boring. So it's definitely a neat whiskey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because when you put just a little bit of water or ice in it, it just becomes a like wisp of whiskey flavored water.
Washes it out.
No fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
So it's been an interesting week around here.
yeah. Did you have any other shows while I was gone?
I did. I had a comedy show Saturday night over in Owasso at a place called Emerson Nice Brewery, as in Emerson Nison's there.
Yeah.
I don't know why the dude named his brewery that. That is so dumb.
Probably a lot of drinking involved.
Probably so. Probably so. And we weren't sure the show was going to happen because Owasso hadn't been without power. Most of Owasso kept power through all of this fiasco. And then sure enough, about 20 minutes before the show was supposed to start, power went down.
Wow.
And about 30 minutes later, it came back up. But everybody was like, oh my God, this again? Because all of us comics were from Tulsa instead of the Owasso area. So it was quite a mess.
PTSD.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good week. I mean, like I say, it was even with the weather situation, the power situation, it turned out to be a great week.
It really was.
And,
it really was.
I feel like all the way around, I think everything we do seemed to kind of grow and get just a little bit better. And I don't know how we got our producer out on a Sunday night. You obviously don't work tomorrow.
Correct.
See, there we go. He can pretend to be a late boy.
What holiday is it tomorrow?
It's
I don't want to work day?
no, it's one of the Creek.
Oh, it's actually a Creek National holiday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Our Creek Festival was this weekend, so.
Oh,
they
nice.
let us off.
Nice. So, did you go to any of the Creek Festival?
No,
No.
no.
You don't do those festivals?
I do sometimes, but being without power and AC the whole week, all I did was since Thursday was soak up AC.
I understand that.
Ugh.
I understand that. Yeah, I told him when the power went out, if I had been him, I would have gone and got about 60 pounds of ice and thrown it in that hot tub and made a cool tub out of it and just lived in the cool tub.
Yeah. No doubt.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, I could really use one of those dog pools or something. Go get a kiddie pool and throw out there. That's 20 hours. Whew.
20 hours. 20 hours, he says. 20 hours. Oh yeah, I felt less than human every time I went to get in my shower, and then I'd take a nice cold shower, and I felt much better.
Yeah.
It's funny how a cold shower works when you have no AC. Of course, I heard a great meme over the week, and I'm not going to claim it's my joke because it's not. It was a meme I saw, but it was somebody said, you know, I always wondered what my grandparents did or great grandparents did, you know, before the time of air conditioning and electricity and all of that, and I still can't figure it out. I've now been without electricity for 48 hours, and I don't know how they survived. And I asked my 18 aunts and uncles, and they don't know either. Well, we don't often tease something we're going to do,
No.
but we have a date coming up before too long that is kind of exciting for our whiskey and cigar folks. We are going to do a Churchill Day.
Yeah. So here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Or
Sometime
so.
over the next month, we're going to
Yeah.
find a date, and we're going to do a Churchill Day. We are going to eat, drink, and smoke what Churchill did in a single day.
Yeah. And we're expecting to survive this.
Maybe. I've seen it done by another YouTuber who is a very experienced alcohol drinker. They run an alcohol YouTube channel. I mean, I would say their name, but they don't need our help in getting
They have
viewers.
a lot more followers.
They have a lot more followers than we do. But the Whisky Tribe did it, and so we're going to do it as well. But it'll be fun because it's tougher than it looks.
Yeah.
Because even they said, you know, they thought the cigars were going to be their problem because they drink all the time, and the alcohol got to them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting day.
Well, I've been practicing.
What's the food items you said you're going to eat?
Well, we're going to eat the 3 meals that he ate, but not necessarily exactly what he ate.
Yeah.
Because we have agreed. One of the things he did with lunch was he drank champagne.
Drank a lot of
A
champagne.
lot of champagne. And while we could go with something very British like bangers and mash,
Fish and chips.
something very traditional, we actually, Kevin has been to a place down in Texas.
It was down in Fort Worth, Texas, that does champagne and fried chicken. And I've heard this recommendation outside of that place as well. But yeah, phenomenal together. So we're just gonna have a big old fried chicken lunch and stomach down this champagne or try to keep it down.
See if we can do it.
Yeah.
You're not a
I'm
champagne
not a
guy.
champagne guy at all.
See, I love a
Yeah.
good champagne.
I've had a lot of good champagne, but that's just not my thing.
Yeah, see, I'm a mimosa guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that I'm allowed to make mimosas out of them. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
you
see
might
what
be
the
able
rules
to.
are.
Speaking of mimosas, I went to, as I was leaving Joplin, Missouri today to come home, I stopped at this place called 1201, which is a restaurant that's known for their brunch.
Okay.
And they're open till like 2 o'clock or whatever. And went in and they had a cool mimosa bar.
Nice.
They had a cool Bloody Mary bar, so I had to have 2 or 3 of those. And they actually had Caesars on there. So you had Zing Zang, Bloody Mary mix, you had tomato juice, and then they had actual Caesar mix like you get in Canada.
Right.
And then they had tons of toppings that you could make skewers of salami and cheese and pickles and peppers and all that stuff. And you had a choice of 3 vodkas. You had bacon infused, one that was called Sweet and Spicy, which is what I ended up going with, or you could just have straight Tito's.
Okay.
But yeah, it was actually really good. And then on top of that, the food was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really good. So me and the wife had a real good meal before coming back, and because our meal last night consisted of those beef and pork like salami looking sticks like
Right.
you get, like Slim Jims kind of.
Yeah.
They're local ones up there. But we had those, and we had some pretzel chips, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before playing, and never got around to eating. So
Well, my meals yesterday consisted of bacon for breakfast, bacon and lettuce, no tomato sandwich for lunch, and the last of the bacon for dinner.
nice.
Well, no, I did pick up dinner on my way here too, so I had 2 dinners last
Okay.
night. But the reason we had so much bacon was because we had to finish it off because it's been sitting for a week now.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was in an ice chest for most of the week.
was
but
compromised.
It was getting close enough that I didn't want to risk it anymore. So we're just like, we're cooking all the bacon.
Yeah.
So we cooked all the bacon. I had great fun yesterday. I cleaned out the fridge after having several days of no electricity.
Yeah.
If you ever have the opportunity to skip that, skip it. Oh, there is nothing worse than cleaning out a fridge that has been closed and gone bad for several days.
Yeah. See, we cleaned ours out the day of. We weren't going to give it a chance because after about 4 hours, everything's compromised. So we just went through and cleaned it out. I tell you what, our fridge has never looked nicer. This is awesome. If I could reach in there and find stuff, and there's nothing growing in it. I'm like, this is great.
I'll tell you, I don't know what to do with our fridge now because
Right.
it's all nice and clean and empty. We had my household is the worst about opening something up and then putting it on a shelf and it gets shoved to the back of the shelf and everybody forgets about it. But because it's in the fridge, it doesn't grow anything. It's like pickles and all this stuff that
Right.
doesn't really go bad.
Right.
Jellies and jams and stuff
But
that
they're all
doesn't go bad, but they're just back there. So I finally have a clean fridge, which is probably the first time in
2008.
well, probably longer than that.
The ice storm.
The big ice storm, 07, 08. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Something like that.
Well, we
Yeah.
bought the house in 18, but we bought it from my parents, and so there was still stuff in the fridge from
You
when they.
You inherited the fridge full.
Yeah. Oh, we emptied out the pantry when we bought the house, and there was stuff in there dated with an expiration of 83.
Wow. 1883. That's a great series, by the way. Oh. Another Taylor Sheridan joint there. Well, my advice is don't fuck it up. Don't start putting a bunch of shit back in there because I'm going to be diligent about not.
You're preaching to the choir with me, but I'm not the only one at the house.
Well, you get them to watch the episode.
It's not going to happen. Number one, they're not about to watch the episode. Number
Well,
two,
yeah, I can imagine. Last thing they want to do is hear us talk again.
Right, exactly. Well, I think we've talked enough about what happened this week. Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the little bell so you get notifications. Follow us on all the other social medias. I can be found at CR Parsons Comedy or CR Parsons Comedian on the different social medias.
You got any shows coming up that maybe a couple, 2-3 weeks out that you know of?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't remember what they are.
Follow him on.
Follow me on.
Anyway.
Smokes and Jokes.
That's right. Smokes
There
and
you
Jokes
go.
is coming up July 19th. If you're in the Tulsa area, July 19th at Classic Cigars and Lounge downtown Tulsa. I will be hosting. It's my show. I've done it for 6-7 years now, and it sells out every year. So get your tickets early. Get them often.
It's like $45.
I can never remember because
It's somewhere between 40 and 50.
Yeah. But it comes with a couple of cigars, a couple of drinks, and a comedy show.
Right.
And we have a great lineup for you this year.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to that. And then for me, if you want to follow me on any of the social medias, at KP Troubadour or at Kevin Price Band, you can pretty much get the same information on either one of those. I kind of just duplicate everything across all of them. Next up for the band, we've got July 21st and 22nd. We'll be at Osage Casino in Tulsa, and then the 28th will be at Osage Bartlesville. Our first time to be up there, so looking forward to those shows and getting to play music with you guys again, and just keep this thing rolling. Until then,
stay smoky.